Retired athlete X new female celebrity, sweet pet little White+Bi-directional Rush+Secret love becomes True+, bringing glory to the country. The Z national figure skater announced his retirement after winning the World Championships, without even saying goodbye. Only a notice from the Ice Association announced that the first generation of figure skaters would retire. Later, it reappeared 6 months later when Gu Wang, who had disappeared from sight, suddenly posted a Weibo post. "Hello everyone, this is my girlfriend at Actors Make Wishes. All major fans have roast that Su Zhuijin is not worthy. Stay away from my house, brother Wang." Later on, it was discovered that Su Wish was actually Chen, the world youth champion who was once hailed as a genius girl, the future on ice, and the name of Gu Wang in the flower skating circle. Ice fans of the skating circle all came to kowtow CP. The sheepy I kowtowed to years ago is finally coming true. I hope the couple can lock me up. As is well known, how exquisite the little fairy Chen is, and how rough the neighboring Gu Wang is. Chen and Gu Wang have known each other since childhood. They trained together as childhood sweethearts and pursued their dreams together. They once made plans to participate in the Winter Olympics together and stand on the highest podium to bring glory to their country. If it weren't for that car accident, she could have stood on the international stage like him and brought glory to the country. The rising star was a future on ice, but later she fell midway due to an accident. She was unable to become the shining star, but in Gu Wang's heart, Chen is more dazzling than the stars. Novel keyword. You are more dazzling than the stars. No pop-ups, you are more dazzling than stars. Download the complete TXT collection, you are more dazzling than the stars. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. From now on, I will no longer participate in competitive competitions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. From now on, I will no longer participate in competitive competitions. It's night. The office is eerily quiet. A man in a suit and leather shoes sat on an office chair, looking at Gu Wang standing in front of him with mixed emotions. The two remained silent and the atmosphere froze for a while. In the end, the man broke the silence by speaking first. His voice was heavy. "Are you sure?" Gu Wang nodded slightly without any hesitation and said, This sound proves that he is really disappointed and doesn't want to continue staying in this circle. Okay, I respect your choice. Thank you. Do you have any plans next? Is it a press conference or a retirement performance? The man asked him. No, Gu Wang's tone was faint, as if he had experienced many things and could no longer muster any passion. The man frowned and didn't quite understand his meaning. Before he could speak, Gu Wangqing's cold and emotionless voice rang out again in the office. Could you please help me send a retirement notice at the end? Man. He hadn't figured out what Gu Wang meant before he turned around and left without any hesitation. Coming out of the building, it was snowing outside. Gu Wang stood in the snow, looking up at the sky. His dark and deep eyes made it difficult to guess what he was thinking. I can only feel a strong sense of sadness and sorrow from him. It was a long time before he lifted his feet and left. From this moment on, his figure skating career came to an end. The next day, a hot news spread across the internet. Chinese figure skater Gu Wang has decided to retire after careful consideration and will no longer participate in competitive competitions from now on. This is a notice sent by the Ice Association in the early morning, and he himself has no news. Many ice fans are suspecting that this is false news and waiting for me to clarify. However, as time passed, apart from the announcement of Gu Wang's retirement by Bing Xia and major media outlets, and the blessings of others, he never appeared in person. A generation of famous generals retired like this, without even saying goodbye. Chen always thought that when a hero exits, it will be on the stage of the spotlight and ribbons, with the last glory he has just won, the applause of flowers, countless hearts, and prepared ones coming to deliver later on. it became clear that one night, with a notice of retirement and not even a goodbye, he disappeared from the public's view like a human evaporating. On the night Gu Wang announced his retirement, Chen Shi stayed up all night. A month later, a dynamic unrelated to her career and life appeared under her Weibo account. The actor made a wish. In this internet-developed world, it is possible for one person to eliminate noise. The picture is of figure skater Gu Wang winning his last gold medal. The young man was dressed in a black costume, with a smile on his face and a high spirit. Her spirited youth ultimately stayed on the field. In Sochi he shouldn't have ended up like this. Su Yuan is Chen Shi's stage name in the entertainment industry, and she has been in this circle for 2 years. Although she doesn't have much fame, she has a lot of black fans and black materials. Not long after her Weibo was posted, it attracted a large number of black fans and followers who verbally attacked her below. "What dares to come next to my house to watch my cubs? It's just that, why are some people so shameless? They are stealing everyone's traffic. Quickly delete Weibo, otherwise don't blame us Wangzai for being impolite." Is it impossible to find a male celebrity in the entertainment industry who can ride the wave of popularity? Surprisingly, even figure skater Gu Wang dares to ride the wave of popularity. Brother Wang has not retired, he is just too tired and wants to take a break for a while. Su Zhuijing, get out of here and don't come next to my brother Wang. Quickly delete Weibo. Fortunately, Chen Shi has a strong ability to withstand pressure in his heart, and there is no waves of attacks and insults from these sprayers. He even slept until noon the next day when his agent called him about 10 times before waking him up. A fair and slender jade hand stretched out from the messy bed, groping around the pillow for a while before finally touching the buzzing phone. The beautiful fingertips randomly pressed on the screen, and after answering the phone, they lazily gave a hello to their ear. Like a lazy little cat, its voice is soft and sticky. The agent heard her drowsy voice and was so angry that he immediately got angry. He shouted angrily at his phone, "My aunt, when is it now that you can still sleep? Don't you even look at how the internet scolds you?" Chen Shi was already on guard and had already taken her phone away at the moment the agent spoke, but despite this, she still heard the agent's words clearly. Fortunately, she didn't put her ear to it, otherwise she would have been deaf with this voice. After the agent finished yelling, she put her phone back in her ear and lazily yawned. "Oh, why are you so angry? Netizens just curse and curse a few words. After they finish cursing, the situation will be over. It won't take them 3 days to forget who I made the wish for." "You really don't care at all," said the agent with a grudge. Chen Xian let out a nonchalant expression and said, "I don't care." The agent suddenly fell silent. The artist herself doesn't care anymore, what else does she have to say? Fortunately, this time it was not a black material, it was just because Chen Shi mentioned figure skater Gu Wang on Weibo, which led to Bingmi mistakenly thinking that she was riding on the heat and attracting insults. But she knew that Chen Shi was not riding on the heat, but really liked Gu Wang. She would silently support almost every game she watched. When Gu Wang just retired, Chen Shi cried while holding her for several days. "Since you don't care, that's it. Black and red are also red. Chen Shi. I suddenly felt that her agent was a bit incompetent. How could she be allowed to follow the black and red line? However, she seems to be born with a black body. When she first debuted, she quickly rose to fame with her role as a goddess in a fairy tale drama, and even became popular due to her beautiful appearance. Instantly possessing countless resources, as long as she doesn't make mistakes and acts diligently, her future is limitless. Unfortunately, due to her overnight fame, it has caused too much jealousy among people, and it is unknown who was the first to pour dirty water on her. She said she had plastic surgery, played big tricks in the crew, and didn't respect her seniors. Some people were already unhappy with her, and such rumors quickly attracted countless netizens to curse her. After being exposed, she returned from abroad and had never attended college. Apart from her appearance, she was useless, and even Chen Shi himself didn't know where she had gone wrong. She became a blacklist overnight. Everyone didn't believe her, how red she was at the beginning, how powerful the people who scolded her were at that time. So much so that no matter how she clarified, it was useless, and in the end, she could only grit her teeth and swallow it into her stomach. Later on, it was inevitable to have some contact with male celebrities during filming, and some producers saw her beauty and wanted to follow her rules. How could Chen Shi be willing to do so? After refusing, she faced retaliation and her reputation deteriorated in just a few months. Plastic surgery, lack of strength, affectation, being taken care of, and so on, all the bad labels have been attached to her. From then on, others saw her wearing colored glasses. After half a year, someone from Tang has returned. This is a brand new and different story. The male protagonist is a retired athlete, and the female protagonist is an 18th-tier female star. The two collide and run in both directions. It is a hot-blooded article. After retiring, the male protagonist will make a comeback with the help of the female protagonist to compete for the Olympic Championship, and the female protagonist will slowly wash away and become a positive and popular female star. Without further ado, if you're interested, just add a bookshelf and enjoy a one-stop service of collecting, ticketing, and 5-star reviews. This book won't be too long, it's a daily favorite, and there aren't too many plot twists and turns. Don't enter if you don't like it. The most important point is that if there is any similarity, it is purely a coincidence. As an author, no one wants to see their book being said to be similar to someone. Note: the inspiration for this book comes from the famous Japanese General Yuzuru Hanyu. When he retired, I cried to death and felt that the ending was not worthy of him. Therefore, I conceived this book. It is my personal intention to make a comeback in the future. He may have Hanyu's shadow on him, but he is not Hanyu, so he has emotional connections. Please do not compare the entire text with reality. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Improper coach returns to inherit family property. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 2. Improper coach returns to inherit family property. Thinking of this, Chen Shi wrung a bitter smile from the corner of his mouth. But soon she put away her sad emotions and regained her heartless appearance. Is there anything else? If not, I'll keep sleeping. Agent. Her anger, which she had finally calmed down, was once again stirred up by Chen Shi's words. Sleeping all day long, what else do you know besides sleeping? After a pause, she added, oh, you still know how to eat. Chen Shi. My ancestors, you haven't received any plays or announcements in a year. If this continues, we'll both have to go drink the wind. Chen Shi flipped over and said nonchalantly, don't worry, I won't let my little baby drink the northwest wind. Song Bei. Go away. Don't his mother me here. I have fought for an audition opportunity for you, although your level is not enough to play the female lead. I think you can go and fight for it. Chen Shi's eyes were too lazy to open, and he still spoke in a heartless tone. Sister Bei, you look up to me too much. Not to mention the female lead, it would be great if I could get a female supporting role with more scenes. Someone belittles themselves without any courtesy. After a few seconds of silence, Song Bei's voice became a bit heavy as he spoke again. This is a TV drama about figure skating, and the female lead is a figure skater. You. Upon hearing the word, Hua slippery, the curve at the corner of Chen Shi's mouth gradually disappeared, and he slowly opened his eyes with a slightly cold expression. She didn't speak, and the other person didn't continue speaking. I don't know how long it was quiet, but in the end, Song Bei broke the silence and said. Think about it, if you decide to audition, give me a call. But you only have 3 days to consider, because the audition will start in 2 weeks. Afterwards, he hung up the phone without waiting for Chen Shi's reply. Chen hoped for the void, his eyes somewhat empty, not knowing what he was thinking. A heavy sadness emanated from her. Is it smooth? She can't remember how long it hasn't been on ice. About 6 years. Perhaps even longer. After a while, she blinked twice before regaining consciousness. She didn't think about what Song Bei had said to her, but threw away her phone and flipped over to continue sleeping. It was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon when she woke up again, and as she was fully asleep, she reluctantly got up from the bed. After washing up and changing clothes, I simply tidied up and then went out with my bag and car key. She first went to fill her stomach, then drove to the ice club. Chen Shi has a nephew, who is 9 years old this year. He is an ice skater with extremely high talent, and many coaches are eager to get him. A few days ago, I was sent to the ice club by my sister-in-law. Recently, both my brother and sister-in-law have been on business trips, so the task of taking care of this little ghost falls on her. There's no way, who can keep Chen Shi busy without work. On the other side. Since retiring, Gu Wang has been staying at his uncle's house for a whole month without leaving home. Unable to bear it anymore, Su Huai grabbed his collar and forcefully dragged him to the ice club. I have recently discovered a good talent. At the age of only 9, I can jump into the advanced third level. Like you, I am a skilled player in blade jumping, but this kid's talent is much better than yours. If cultivated well, he will definitely become a great player in the future. Gu Wang held his phone in his hand and didn't even lift his eyelids. And then. Since you have retired, come to my club as a coach, and that kid will be my retirement gift to you. Upon hearing this, Gu Wang didn't even want to turn around and leave, but he was grabbed by his uncle's collar and pulled back before taking 2 steps. What are you running for, kid? Gu Wangxing said, Uncle, just let me go. I'm not interested in being a coach. If you're not a coach, then you should go back and inherit your father's property. Su Huai's attitude was tough. Anyway, I'll leave it here. You have to choose between being a coach and going back and inheriting your family's property. Gu Wang said, Can I not choose? What do you think? I think it's okay. Su Huai suddenly changed his face and said, Okay, you big-headed ghost. I've already told the child that his coach is the famous figure skater Gu Wang. You can't let the child down, can you? No, uncle, you're too stubborn. How could you do such a thing of killing before reporting? Didn't you discuss your retirement with me? Let's talk about each other. Gu Wang was immediately speechless. He started skating because of his uncle, and later became steadfast because of his love. The retirement incident was indeed a bit sudden for him, but it was also really exhausting. Seeing him not speaking, Su Huai felt regretful in his heart and couldn't help but say, You're still at your peak. It's a pity to retire. Gu Wang is really strong and is an international top men's singles player. He holds 4 types of quadruple jump difficulty, which is not only difficult but also artistic. He is a versatile player. Not only in China, but also in the world, there are not many athletes who can match him. 6 years ago at the Sochi Winter Olympics, he ascended to the throne as soon as he made his debut, becoming the youngest men's singles Olympic champion in history. That year, at the age of 18, he stood on the highest podium. Afterwards, everyone thought he would usher in his own era, and the fact was indeed so. In the Pyeongchang cycle, he was indeed very strong in the first 2 seasons. With him in the game, others only had to compete for a 2nd and 3rd place. At that time, Gu Wang was really full of energy, and just going to that stop made other contestants feel like they couldn't compare. But the good times didn't last long. Since 2016, the International Skating Federation has been suppressing Gu Wang, in order to promote their own country's athletes to become champions. Gu Wang is also very frustrated, not only being suppressed, but also constantly injured and sick. He often misses international competitions, and even if he attends, he cannot win a gold medal, and his score is always lowered. Perhaps everyone got used to him standing on the highest podium, so that after Gu Wang couldn't win the gold medal, he was questioned by netizens for not training well and his condition declined. Especially 2 years ago, when the short program of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics failed and only finished fourth, he was greeted with overwhelming slander and abuse. Until now, some black fans still continue to curse at him. Why did Gu Wang retire? I'm probably really disappointed. It's okay to be suppressed by the International Skating Federation, even his own people don't trust him. So a month ago, after winning the gold medal at the World Championships, he announced his retirement. That is his only major gold medal since 17 years ago. Su Huai really feels regretful. Why did Gu Wang retire like this? But since this is Gu Wang's decision, he only has support left. Gu Wang lowered his eyes and had no expression on his face. This kid's mind is too deep, even Su Huai can't see through what he's thinking. Forget it, let's not mention the past. I'll take you to meet that child with even higher talent than you. Gu Wang moved his eyelids and didn't speak, but he followed in Su Huai's footsteps. That child's talent is really high, you must have accepted him as an apprentice. If it were someone else, Su Huai wouldn't be willing to give up such a good seedling. If you don't understand figure skating, you can skip it. Just remember that the male lead is very powerful, that's enough. Retirement is always forced. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Chen Shi, long time no see. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Chen Shi, long time no see. There are many athletes training on the ice rink, and the ice skate makes an extremely comfortable sound as it cuts across the ice surface. The little boy wearing a black training suit is called Chen Jinyan, and his talent is really high. Gu Wang followed his uncle's gaze and saw a boy wearing a black training suit on the ice rink. Not to mention anything else, the little boy looks white and clean. Although he is not tall, his proportion is very good. Figure skating is a sport that values appearance, and almost every athlete has a high level of attractiveness. It's quite a coincidence. When Gu Wang looked over, the little boy happened to do a jump. Shupa. A perfect 3 low, not only technically clean but also highly floating, with a lot of room for improvement. Indeed, as Su Huai said, it is a good seedling. After Chen Jinyan finished jumping, suddenly someone called out to him. Year after year. Besides the parties involved, Gu Wang and Su Huai also looked at the source of the voice at the same time. That is an extremely beautiful woman. As soon as Chen Jinyan saw her, he ran over with a bumpy smile that was even brighter than the sun outside. Auntie. Seeing the familiar yet unfamiliar face, Gu Wang furrowed his brows slightly. He hasn't seen her for a long time. Su Huai said, that's the child's aunt. I don't remember her name, it seems like she's still a big star. But not to mention anything else, she looks really beautiful. Gu Wang blinked his eyelids, regained consciousness, and his expression was faint. What, do you like it? Su Huai half-jokingly replied, if I were 10 years younger. Before he could even speak, Gu Wang interrupted him and said, don't think about it. Even if you're 10 years younger, they won't look up to you. Su Huai was said, you kid, are you looking for a fight? Gu Wang was completely fearless, just staring at Chen Jinyan's aunt without blinking his eyes. Su Huai saw the situation and said, I heard she still seems single. Would you like to give it a try? Gu Wang. He remained silent and lowered his eyes, unsure of what he was thinking. After a moment of silence, Su Huai stared at the beautiful woman's face and couldn't help but think of another person. Not to mention, she looks quite similar to her. 6 years have passed and I don't know how she's doing now. Su Huai's expression became serious and he let out a deep sigh. Ah, what a pity. A good genius has just fallen. Even though many years have passed, the mention of that person in the skating circle is still full of regret and regret. Even though she was just one step away, she could have stood on the highest stage. Even the highest podium, but unfortunately, fate is deceiving. The accident took away her tomorrow and future, and also destroyed the white moonlight in the hearts of countless people, as well as the hope for domestic figure skating women's singles. Gu Wang murmured in a low voice, "Where is it like? It's clearly her. Chen Shi, long time no see." His voice was very low, and Su Huai didn't hear him. "What are you muttering about, kid?" Gu Wang shook his head and withdrew his thoughts from the past, still lazily saying, "It's nothing." He put away his phone and lifted his feet to walk towards his aunt and nephew. Chen Shi has a good relationship with his nephew, who is 13 years younger than him. She touched his head and doted on him, saying, "How's it going? Are you still adapting to the new training place?" Chen Jinyan nodded and said in a childish voice, The ice here is even better than the ice rink I've skated on before." Chen Shi chuckled and said, "Of course, this is the best ice skating club in China. I heard the owner is still a wealthy person." Chen Jinyan is not interested in the topic of money, and he has a hot news to share with Chen Shi now. "Auntie, do you know who my new coach is?" Saying it scared you to death. Chen Shi. This kid speaks rudely like his father. Although she did the same, she still taught the children. "How many times has Auntie told you? Speak politely." Chen Jinyan let out a muffled tone, but it recovered in the next second. "Auntie, you're asking me who the coach is?" Chen Shi couldn't help but laugh and cry, "Then tell me who your coach is and see if you can scare my aunt to death." Chen Jinyan. Just said he should speak more politely. As a result, my aunt was not civilized at all. Alas, but he has also become accustomed to it for so many years. In fact, Chen Shi can probably guess who Chen Jinyan's coach is. In the ice club, besides the famous Su Huai, who else can he be? But Chen Jinyan's name still scared her. "Auntie, let me tell you, my coach is Olympic champion Gu Wang." The child's tone was very excited and a little excited. Gu Wang, yeah, that was the first men's singles champion in figure skating in China and the youngest in history. Only people in the skating circle know how powerful he is. Unfortunately, he announced his retirement a month ago. Even now, there are still many ice fans crying over this matter. Chen Shi never expected that the little guy's coach would be Gu Wang. Isn't he just retired? How did you become a coach? However, it is not surprising that many famous athletes choose to become coaches after retiring. Not to mention Gu Wang. He was so impressive during his current service and had his own unique training style. It would be a pity not to be a coach, as his skills have not been passed down. Chen Shi was also shocked for about 10 seconds because he knew that Su Huai was Gu Wang's uncle, and it was not surprising for him to work as a coach here. Chen Jinyan has exceptional talent and is also qualified to be Gu Wang's disciple. Does this just mean that she and he are going to meet? At the moment of hearing Gu Wang's name, Chen Shi inexplicably felt that she had been avoiding things for 6 years and had to face them. Suddenly, a shadow shrouded behind him. Someone stood behind her. Chen Shi's heart was inexplicably racing, and she could sense that the person standing behind her was not an ordinary person. Chen Jinyan saw who the person behind her was before her, and the child's eyes lit up with excitement, almost jumping up and saying, "Senior Gu." Chen Shi's heart thumped for a moment. It is indeed him. Other athletes were also shocked and they saw Gu Wang, followed by excitement. Who doesn't admire this Olympic champion present? Although Sochi won the championship 6 years ago and later did not perform well, he is still an Olympic champion, an admirable presence. The Winter Olympics are held every 4 years, and it is fortunate to be able to participate, let alone win the championship. There are many athletes who missed the Winter Olympics due to various reasons such as age, developmental difficulties, and injuries. The Olympic champion is a dream that countless athletes may never be able to achieve in their lifetime. For a moment, everyone stopped training, their eyes fixed on Gu Wang. And his gaze fell on the squatting Chen Shi. Chen Shi could feel him looking at her, but she just didn't have the courage to turn back and face it. Because of this turn, she had to face not only Gu Wang, but also something that was a nightmare for her. She escaped for 6 years and also avoided for 6 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The world champion who stunned everyone upon his debut on the field. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The world champion who stunned everyone upon his debut on the field. The two of them were deadlocked, with no intention of speaking first. Finally, Chen Jinyan discovered the clues and reminded Chen Shi, Auntie, Senior Gu Wang is watching you. By implication, why don't you get up and say hello to my prospective coach? That's Gu Wang, yeah. A sliding ring-like existence. Chen Shi knew he couldn't escape today and could only smile awkwardly. He casually made an excuse to pass it by and said, my feet are a bit numb. Chen Jinyan looked stern and said, Auntie, are you here to be funny? Chen Shi. She squatted down not because he was short. Although reluctant, Chen Shi still stood up, took a deep breath, and encouraged himself in his heart. What are you afraid of? Maybe we haven't seen each other for 6 years, and everyone will have forgotten about you long ago. And 6 years ago, she was a little girl who didn't even grow up, and there was still a big difference from now. Even if you remember, you may not recognize her. Thinking this way, Chen Shi turned around with a smile on his face. She fell into Gu Wang's sight like that. Compared to 6 years ago, Chen Shi has indeed changed a lot. If it weren't for acquaintances seeing her, they wouldn't have been able to connect with her. She disguised herself as Su Yuan and spent 2 years in the entertainment industry without being discovered by reporters. So Gu Wang definitely can't recognize her. Chen Shi's confidence increased a bit, and he looked up at Gu's gaze with a bright and charming smile. Hello, my name is Su Yuan, and I am Jinyan's aunt, he said. Chen Jinyan's eyebrows furrowed slightly, somewhat puzzled. How did Auntie deceive Senior Gu Wang with a fake name? When Chen Shi had an accident, he was still young and not very clear about it. However, he knew that Chen Shi was also an athlete, and his promising future was ultimately ruined by a car accident. Along with his grandparents, who were getting old, they divorced because of this incident. This is a past that she does not want and cannot be mentioned by the whole family. So Chen Jinyan's doubts were answered without revealing them. Auntie must have her reasons for doing this, as long as he respects her. Gu Wang looked at Chen Shi's slender jade hand reaching out in front of him and curled his lips to smile. TSK, actually using a stage name to deceive him, do you think he can't recognize her? Seeing Chen Shi's confident smile on his face, Gu Wang knew it was true. He shook his head helplessly. The person he had been with for 10 years, training together day and day, and chasing dreams together, but now it's only 6 years since they last met, how could he not recognize her? Gu Wang didn't speak or move, and Chen Shi's outstretched hand froze in mid-air. He withdrew it and continued to hold it, feeling a bit awkward for a moment. Su Huai was well aware that Gu Wang did not like to have contact with the opposite sex due to the scandal of the past. Just as he was about to step forward to solve this awkward situation, Gu Wang extended his hand and gently grasped Chen Shi's little hand. Cooperate with her and say, hello, Gu Wang. His voice was cold and his eyes were dull, as if he was standing in front of an unfamiliar stranger. Chen Shi felt secretly pleased in his heart. She knew that Gu Wang couldn't recognize her. Bi was nervous just now. Chen Shi withdrew his hand with a smile on his face and said politely, I heard that you are a coach every year. I believe that if you hand it over to you every year, you will definitely become excellent. The next sentence from Gu Wang directly surprised Chen Shi. I didn't say I wanted to be his coach. Gu Wang glanced at Chen Jinyan, who was admiring him with extreme indifference. To be honest, I don't have any plans to become a coach. Your child should be entrusted to someone else. Chen Shi. She looked at Chen Jinyan in confusion. The child also looked bewildered and looked at Su Huai. Su Huai also didn't expect Gu Wang to be so ruthless and say such things directly in front of others. He walked forward and secretly pinched Gu Wang's waist with his hand behind him. He gritted his teeth and said, "You kid, you don't give him any face, do you?" "Uncle, I really don't have any plans to become a coach," Gu Wangjian said without hesitation. He hasn't figured out how to go next yet. Seeing his resolute attitude, Su Huai couldn't force himself anymore. The most important thing now is to explain it clearly to the children. In those years, if you look at the senior, he hasn't figured out what to do next. "Do you think I can be your coach?" After all these years as a coach, Su Huai was still so humble for the first time. He gave Gu a glare and had already figured out how to retaliate. Gu Wang ignored him directly and looked elsewhere. Although Chen Jinyan really likes Gu Wang, Su Huai is also one of the top coaches in China, and others wouldn't even think of him coming here. After thinking for a moment, he nodded and said, "Okay." Su Huai touched Chen Jinyan's head and said, "Good kid, go train quickly. I'll talk to your aunt." Chen Shi, who was embarrassed, didn't speak and just wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. Chen Jinyan nodded, glanced at her, and then quickly ran away on his ice skates. At a young age, he glides very well, far surpassing his peers. Year after year, it's like this. I originally wanted Nian to be under Xiao Wang's command, but Xiao Wang hasn't decided whether to become a coach yet, so rest assured that I will teach Nian well and ensure that he becomes a star of tomorrow. Chen Shi smiled awkwardly and politely, "I believe in your ability, and I don't care about the training every year. If there is any problem, please call his mother. Her mother has been on a business trip recently, and will be back in a few days." Su Huai nodded and said, "Okay, but I'm sorry about what happened earlier." Chen Shi shook his head and said, "It's okay. Just when did Gu Wang become so cold? I remember he used to be a very enthusiastic little talker." However, Chen Shi didn't think much. People can change, and she herself is no exception. Moreover, Gu Wang has gone through so many things, and compared to before, he has become much more mature and stable, and his personality has naturally changed. After Chen Jinyan finished his training, Chen Shi first took him to fill his stomach, and then returned to her apartment. Returning home, Chen Jinyan sat at his desk, writing vigorously. Chen Shi lies on the sofa, holding up his mobile phone and roast to Song Bei. "You don't know how awkward I was today. I thought he was the coach year after year, so I said I would leave it to him year after year. But he slapped me in the face in public. Fortunately, there were no other people on site besides the athletes being trained. Otherwise, you could have helped me prepare for the aftermath now." Song Bei almost burst out laughing and said, "I didn't expect you two to meet again after so many years. Ha ha ha. Chen Shi. Is it that funny?" "It's not funny at all." After Song Bei finished laughing, he asked, "He really didn't recognize you?" Chen Shi let out a nonchalant voice and said, "It's been so long, who still remembers Chen Shi?" You will notice a hint of sadness hidden in her careless tone when you carefully examine it. Song Bei looked serious and said, "Me. Chen Shi. Come on, come on. To be honest, many people still remember you, the world champion Chen Shi who amazed everyone when you first appeared on the field." Chen Shi lowered his eyelids to conceal the disappointment in his eyes. "It's just a flash in the pan, what's the use of it?" End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Was once again criticized and trending. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 was once again criticized and trending. Song Bei instinctively retorted, "Why is it useless? Although your flowering period is short, it is stunning, as brilliant as fireworks. Anyway, you are also," said the world youth champion, and the person who almost achieved the Grand Slam with just one Olympic gold medal. But before Song Bei could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Chen Shi. All right, let bygones be bygones, don't bring them up again. She knew that she didn't like to bring up past events, so she changed the topic and said, since that's the case, consider what I told you this morning. I think this is a great opportunity. You don't have a good reputation in the industry. If you could get the female lead of this drama, when it's time to air, there will definitely be many viewers who will change their views on you. You don't want to be like this all your life, do you? She glanced at the left hand wearing a beautiful bracelet. Yeah, she can't be like this for a lifetime, right? But can she walk out? She blinked his eyelids and put away all the emotions in his eyes. Let me think about it, after all, I haven't had contact with it in many years, he said. Song Bae is not in a hurry either. That accident left a great psychological shadow on Chen back then, and she needed time. Well, then you should take a good rest in the next few days. I'll wait for your good news. She nodded and said, I won't tell you for now. I have something else to do, goodbye. Goodbye. After hanging up the phone, she glanced at Chen Jinyan, who was doing his homework. She is so serious that she can't pick any faults. Boredom. After watching for a while, Chen withdrew his gaze and pursued the drama with his tablet in his arms. Gu Wang has been staying at his uncle's house recently and rarely goes home. However, when I returned today, I found that my password had been changed. Gu Wang. He had to call Su Huai and ask, Uncle, how did you change the password? Su Huai said, wait until you decide whether or not to become a coach before coming back. I don't welcome you here. Gu Wang. No, Uncle, you're too ruthless, aren't you? Isn't it the first day you met me? If it weren't for my unreasonable behavior, could your dad make you an athlete? Gu Wang was immediately speechless. Because his father never agreed to let him become an athlete, it was just because he didn't dare to offend Su Huai, so there was nothing he could do about him. Uncle, you're leaving me nowhere to go. Since the news of his retirement was announced, journalists in the entire city of Songjiang have been squatting on him, and there are paparazzi squatting downstairs in his apartment every day. Now he has to wrap himself tightly when going out, afraid of being recognized. Only Su Huai is here, with strict security, and the journalist paparazzi cannot enter. Su Huai smiled and said, if you promise to become a coach now, I will let you in. Looking through the screen, one can imagine how cunning his uncle's smile was. Just think about it, if it's okay, I'll sleep on the street. After speaking, Gu Wang hung up the phone in anger. Su Huai. This kid, despite feeling unwilling to leave the field, still chose to retire. I hope he can one day come back to the field to make up for his regrets. Su Huai stood on the third floor, watching Gu Wang leave before turning around and entering the room. Coming out of the community, Gu Wang felt cursed in his heart. This uncle is also very stingy. He just slapped his old man in the face in public and asked him to sleep on the street. It's outrageous. Gu Wang stopped a car and went to the star-picking hotel. The next day, the news of Gu Wang appearing at the Ice Club has topped the hot search list. #Gu Wang appears at the Ice Club. #Gu Wang intends to become a coach. #Gu Wang's first appearance after retirement. #Famous figure skater Gu Wang. This is the first time that Gu Wang has received any news since his retirement. Although it was secretly captured by someone, no matter what, there is news, and the happiest thing is none other than Ice fans. Woo, a month has passed, and I finally have news from you. Looking at the photo, I hope the cub has lost a lot of weight, it hurts. Brother Wang, rest well and remember to come back and see us. Wang Zai has been here all along. Brother Wang appears at the club. Is this about to switch coaches? If Wang Go becomes a coach, does it mean he has no chance of making a comeback? Reply upstairs. Don't do it. Brother Wang is only 24 years old now. I think we can take a shot at Beijing Olympics. I hope the wind in Pyeongchang can blow to Beijing Olympics. Finally meeting Brother Wang. We respect Brother Wang's choice and will always support him. Brother Wang, we are all waiting for you to say, retire yourself. The popularity of Gu Wang's appearance has exceeded 8 figures, and his popularity in China is astonishing, with an influence comparable to that of top domestic entertainment. However, the parties involved do not pay attention to online affairs, even if they make it to the top of hot searches, they are not interested. What's bothering him now is where to go next. His apartment may not be able to go back, with so many paparazzi and illegitimate food squatting there every day. As for home, he doesn't want to go back yet, so he needs to find a new place to live. With this in mind, Gu Wang went online to look at the house. Little did they know that the popularity of his appearance at the ice club had always been high, and in addition, there was another person who was also brought to the hot search by him. At first, everyone's attention was focused on Gu Wang and they didn't think anything was wrong, but soon a netizen saw Chen Shi's shadow in Gu Wang's photo. Although it was just a profile, netizens were so eye-catching that they immediately recognized it as Chen Shi. With the Weibo post she posted the day before yesterday and her appearance at the ice club yesterday, she was directly criticized and made it onto the hot search. What's wrong with this wish? I followed Brother Wang to the club. Is she a dog skin ointment? Su Yuanxiang wants to go crazy, I dare to take advantage of anyone's popularity. Stay away from my home, Brother Wang, or you'll have to look good. Who is making a wish? Even a notorious little transparent person dares to take advantage of Brother Wang's popularity. How far is it? Get out of here. Please make a wish to stay away from Gu Wangyuan and not come to our skating circle. Wish to go very good, Chen Shi was scolded twice in a row to wake up. What should I do now? Can you please clarify this, said Song Bei, who has already arrived at her apartment. If Chen Shi is not clarified, he will sit on the rumors and ride the heat. The others are fine, but that's Olympic champion Gu Wang, his ice fans can swallow the wish alive. However, the parties involved simply glanced at the online comments and returned the phone to Song Bei. He lazily yawned and spoke in a nonchalant tone, as long as you're the agent, you can make the decision. I followed the drama a bit late last night and got up early to take Nian Nian to school. I'm so tired, you let me sleep a little longer. Song Bei. She knew that Chen Shi's heart was strong, but she didn't expect it to be so strong that it felt like she wasn't the one being scolded. Song Bei was speechless for 2 seconds and instructed his subordinates to send a statement clarifying the incident where Chen Shi appeared at the ice club yesterday. Then he lifted Chen Shi's blanket and said, "All right, stop sleeping and get up quickly." Chen Shi was forcibly pulled up, and the little girl grumbled and complained, "Oh my, there's no job again. Why are you getting up?" End of this chapter. Chapter 6. After teasing, run away. Are you a scumbag? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. After teasing, run away. Are you a scumbag? How dare you say that you haven't opened for a long time? Song Bei felt that she had done too much bad things in her previous life. Otherwise, how could she stand up for an artist like Chen Shi? I haven't shown any ambition at all. Chen Shi put on a bad show and said, I also want to work, but they don't like me, there's nothing they can do. She also auditioned for many roles a while ago, with good and bad running tricks, but others criticized her for having a bad reputation. Song Bei. Alright, stop lying down and get up to exercise. How much have you gained recently? Chen Shi. Not much, only 10 pounds. Of course, she dare not tell Song Bei this, otherwise Song Bei will tear her apart. Song Bei saw that she didn't speak or wake up, and he really hated being stubborn. After 2 seconds of silence, she was defeated and said, if you have time tonight, I'll take you somewhere. Where are we going? You will know when you arrive. At 7 p.m., Chen Shi followed Song Bei to the Moon Bay Hotel. Before that, she brought Chen Jinyan back from school to eat and drink before sending him to the ice club for training. The variety show we talked about last time had a guest who had a last-minute cancellation. The production team hasn't found anyone to attend yet. Coincidentally, I have some connections with the producer, so I made an appointment for this meal to see if he can give you a chance to participate. Chen Zio exclaimed twice, and when she saw the work coming up, she immediately became energized and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely perform well this time." Song Bei let out a soft snort from his nose, as if he had heard something ridiculous. "You can pull it off. How many people have you offended in the circle with your violent temper? You don't need to do anything today, just sit there obediently and listen to my orders." Chen Shi grabbed his bag with an innocent expression on his face and said, "That's not my fault. They were unreasonable and wanted to sleep with me first." Song Bei shook his head helplessly and said, yes, you hit some scumbags, they deserve it too." Chen Shi. As he was about to walk to the door of the private room, Song Bei's phone suddenly rang. "I'll take a call." Chen Shi nodded. Song Bei walked over and answered the phone. "Hello, what's up?" "I'm outside." I don't know what the other person said, but her face changed in vain and she said, "What?" "Wait, I'll go over right now." After hanging up the phone, Song Bei was in a hurry and said, Shi, there's something wrong with Song Wanxin. I need to go over and take a look. Can you handle this dinner on your own?" Seeing her in such a hurry, Chen Shi thought something big must have happened and nodded, You go quickly. I can handle it myself." Regardless of whether it's okay or not, someone on Song Wanxin's side has had an accident. As her agent, she has to go and take a look, and can only advise Chen Shi, "Anyway, you're not allowed to hit anyone. I don't want to go to the bureau to pick you up again." Chen Shi nodded and said, "Don't worry, as long as you don't want to sleep with me, I won't do anything." Song Bei. She gave a few more reassuring reminders before leaving. Chen Shi stood at the entrance of the private room, tidying up his hair before pushing the door in. A dinner party is really a dinner party, with 3 or 5 directors and producers sitting inside, as well as a few unnamed artists chatting, probably all wanting to participate in a variety show. There are many actors in the industry, but resources are limited and competition is fierce. Not to mention the protagonist, even a small role, if it's just a minor role, will have a bunch of people competing. Variety shows are even more crowded with people wanting to participate. Finally, Chen Shi accompanied his smiling face and drank a lot of alcohol, but was not sure if he could participate in this variety show. Coming out of the restaurant, she felt dizzy and nauseous. She walked a bit shaky, and when she almost fell, someone helped her. A cool and pleasant voice sounded above my head, "Why drink so much alcohol in the middle of the night?" Chen Shimei's heart furrowed slightly. This voice. Why is it a bit familiar? She looked up in confusion, and what caught her eye was an extremely demonic face, with distinct and profound facial features. Her peach blossom eyes were slightly raised at the end of the eyes, and her nose was straight and sexy with thin lips, which was the painter's favorite image. She is also very familiar with this face. It's Gu Wang. He furrowed his brows slightly, with a hint of displeasure between his eyebrows, and he didn't know who was bothering him. Chen Shi stood up straight, withdrew his hand that he was holding, and replied solemnly, "I didn't drink a lot, only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cups." The little girl was holding her fingers and had no idea how much she had drunk. I only remember a bald donkey who kept teasing her for drinking. Gu Wang's face turned even darker as he looked at her with anger and helplessness. A girl from every family, why drink so much alcohol? Chen Shi's mind was in a daze, and she answered whatever Gu Wang asked, "Because I have to complete the task given to me by Bebe." Song Bei, who is far away in the hospital, said, "I just asked you to eat, but I didn't ask you to drink. Don't mistreat me." Gu Wang. Shall I take you back? My home. Chen Shi turned around in place and then asked Gu Wang. Where is my home? Gu Wang's face was covered in black lines. I'm afraid it's not foolish to drink. Oh, I remember, my home is at number 520, Garden Community, Songjiangyalu. Hee hee. Chen Shi smiled foolishly and a bit cute. But her words made Gu Wang very angry. With a calm face, he asked her, do you know me? The little girl nodded and said, I know you. Gu Wang raised his eyebrows slightly and was quite surprised. Then tell me who I am, he said, Chen Shi stared at him for a few seconds and replied. Handsome little brother. After finishing speaking, she fell into his arms with a hint of darkness in her eyes, and Gu Wang quickly caught her. With a blank expression on his face, hey, wake up. Chen Shi did not respond. Gu Wang. He shook her again and said, Chen Shi. The little girl still didn't react. Just as he thought she had slept, she rubbed her head and suddenly raised her emotions, saying, Chen Shi. Who is Chen Shi? I don't know, my name is Su and Yuan. If you have any wishes, please let me know. I promise they will come true, because my name is Su Wish. Chen Shi's eyes were almost unable to open, and he had a smile on his face, which was very beautiful. But Gu Wang was not in the mood to appreciate it. All I have left in my mind is one sentence. What is Chen Shi going crazy again? I really want to leave her here and just casually tell others my home address, without any sense of security. As Chen Shi was about to fall asleep, she suddenly remembered something and her whole body became much clearer. She stared at Gu Wang and said, I'm going to the ice club and coming home year after year. Gu Wang. I'll take you back first. Every year, I call his coach Su Huai to take him back. Chen Shi stared at Gu Wang for a while, as if thinking. After about 2 or 3 seconds, she nodded in agreement. After explaining this, her eyes darkened and she fell into Gu Wang's arms, completely falling asleep. Gu Wang shook his head helplessly, holding on to her slender waist with one hand and taking out his phone to call Su Huai with the other. I received his call over there with a relaxed tone. Oh, Gu Dashan, are you so free to call me? He knows that Gu Wang is currently looking for a house. Gu Wang didn't hesitate and went straight to the topic. After the training is over, could you please take Chen Jinyan home? Her aunt. Glancing at the person in his arms, he continued. It's not very convenient, I'll send you the address on WeChat. After finishing speaking, he hung up the phone. Su Huai was about to ask why it was inconvenient to come, but Gu Wang didn't give him this opportunity at all. Because the person lying in Gu Wang's arms was restless, his hand touched his chest. In public, Chen Shi was not shy, and Gu Wang couldn't bear it. He quickly grabbed her hand and picked up the person horizontally, stopping a taxi on the roadside. After getting on the car, the little girl was quite calm, leaning against Gu Wang and holding his waist tightly with both hands, sleeping soundly. Gu Wang placed one hand on Chen Shi's shoulder and the other took out his phone to send the address to Su Huai. It's quite a long journey back from Moon Bay, but Chen Shi went crazy with alcohol halfway through. Little brother, you look so handsome, your chest muscles are so hard. And your abdominal muscles are 6 yuan. Chen Shi tilted his head slightly and looked at Gu Wang's perfect jawline, tears almost streaming from his mouth. The driver is a beautiful aunt, and Chen Shi's words appear very abrupt in this quiet car. Gu Wang and the driver were both stunned, but the latter quickly reacted, showing a hint of aunt's smile, and then raised his hand to pull up the middle baffle. No matter what she does afterwards, she won't be able to see. Although you can hear, you can pretend not to hear. Gu Wang. The little girl's hands began to get restless again, touching him, and her words became more and more coquettish. I just saw it, your butt is so perky. Gu Wang. Dot. I'm special. Are you really good at saying that as a girl? Actually, she practiced flower skating, with her buttocks raised and Chen Shi's figure very good, except for her chest. Gu Wang ignored her, and Chen Shi didn't feel embarrassed either. He continued, brother, do you have a girlfriend? If not, how are you looking at me? He had a dark face and almost squeezed out a sentence from between his teeth. I think you deserve a beating. The little girl muttered, feeling a little aggrieved, no, they clearly owe a kiss, right? Gu Wang. Dot. 10,000 grass mud horses galloped past him in his heart. He rubbed his sore temples, tried to suppress the wildfire in his heart, and 1,000 words finally converged into one sentence. Chen Shi, do you want to spend the night by the roadside? Drink a drink and make your mind go crazy. I originally wanted to threaten Chen Shi and make her calm down, but I didn't expect her to have no idea how to write the word, calm down. Blinking her beautiful apricot eyes, she smiled brightly and said, as long as I can be with my brother, I can accept it anywhere. Gu Wang suddenly regretted it a bit. Shouldn't he care about her? But when he thought that if the person at this moment was not him, it would be someone else, and he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He pinched Chen Shi's face and asked her, are you just like this when you get drunk? I haven't seen you for 6 years, not only have I grown up, but I have also learned poorly. Chen Shi's face was contorted by being pinched, and his speech was a bit unclear. No, they just treat you like this. Although he knew that what she said was likely false, Gu Wang still felt inexplicably happy in his heart. He approached her with a serious tone and said, you're not allowed to drink anymore, do you hear me? Chen Shi opened a pair of beautiful eyes and stared at Gu Wang without blinking. For a moment, no one spoke, their eyes met, and the atmosphere began to heat up. I don't know what Chen Shi's little brain was thinking. Suddenly, he leaned forward and kissed Gu Wang like a dragonfly skimming water. His eyebrows and eyes curved and he smiled, I know. Gu Wang didn't expect her to suddenly launch an attack, and her whole body felt like being electrocuted, numbness spreading throughout her body in an instant. This is his first kiss. After a long time, Gu Wang regained consciousness from the kiss and turned his head to see that the little girl who had done the wrong thing had already fallen asleep leaning against the car chair. Gu Wang's face turned black again. He pinched Chen Shi's face and gently tugged twice, muttering softly, after teasing, run away. Are you a scumbag? The little girl probably felt pain, and patted off Gu Wang's hand in disgust. Gu Wang didn't bother her anymore. After finally settling down, let her sleep for a while. On the way back, as soon as Gu Wang was lost in thought, he would think of that kiss. Cool. Soft. He didn't even feel it before it ended. What's the small regret? Gu Wang didn't think much and shook his head to drive the waste out of his mind. After the car stopped, he paid and carried Chen Shi out of the car. However, when I returned home, I couldn't get in. Gu Wang rudely patted Chen Shi's face and said, Chen Shi, what is your password? The little girl let out a dissatisfied, and said in a fierce tone, what are you doing? Who are you? I don't want to tell you my password. What if you plan against me? Gu Wang. Dot. Who is really plotting against whom? His patience has run out of him. Don't you say we'll sleep under the overpass tonight. Upon hearing this, Chen Shi woke up and instinctively hugged him, saying, no, I'm a fairy. How can a fairy sleep under the overpass? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Dead memories attack her. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 7. Dead memories attack her. Gu Wang's face was filled with disdain, returning to the fairy, where does a fairy drink? The little girl had a restrained expression, her mouth flattened as if she was about to cry in the next second. Just then, the door was suddenly opened from inside. Looking up, there was nothing. As soon as you lower your head, you can see a little boy with a watermelon head. Chen Jinyan had just returned home for a while when he heard the commotion and went to open the door. He stared at the two people hugging each other, his eyes and mouth wide open in surprise. Gu Wang didn't expect Su Huai to send a person back so quickly. He didn't know what to do for a while. Unfortunately, Chen Shi had not noticed yet, afraid that Gu Wang would let her sleep under the overpass and tightly embrace his waist. Chen Jinyan took a full 10 seconds to recover and said, "Auntie, Senior Gu Wang, what are you doing?" Su Huai hasn't left yet, mainly because he's afraid that it's not safe for children to be alone at home. He went to the restroom and came out to see this scene. But he was only shocked for a second, and then a smile appeared on his face. No wonder this kid said it's inconvenient, that's why. When did this kid get along with Aunt Chen Jinyan? Chen Shi heard the sound and lowered his head to look at Chen Jinyan. He still held Gu Wang's hand and said, "Nian Nian, have you come back?" Chen Jinyan nodded and nodded, smelling the smell of alcohol on Chen Shi's body. The little one frowned and said, "Auntie, why did you drink again?" It's really pitiful to have Senior Gu Wang take advantage of him, his aunt who likes to act crazy when drunk. But in the past, my aunt always took advantage of Sister Ran, and this man. This is the first time. Chen Shi was not very satisfied with the word "you," and bent down to correct, "What does it mean to drink again?" "It's my first time drinking, isn't it okay?" After speaking, he tightly hugged Gu Wang's arm. Don't doubt it, this is relying on Gu Wang. Looking at Chen Shi as if he would fall asleep in the next second, Chen Jinyan shook his head helplessly like a little adult and said, "Senior Gu Wang, could you please help me get my aunt to bed?" Gu Wang didn't say anything, picked up Chen Shi horizontally and sent him back to his room. The children were very considerate and went to pour Chen Shi a cup of warm water. Su Huai is just a spectator. Gu Wang placed the person on the bed and helped her take off her shoes and cover the blanket. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he was suddenly grabbed by his hand. "Don't leave." Her voice was very quiet, but Gu Wang still heard it. Chen Shi, lying in bed, frowned heavily. As soon as he fell asleep, he didn't know what he had dreamed of, and his grip grew stronger and stronger. Chen Jinyan came in carrying water and saw Chen Shi like this. The children also felt sorry for their aunt, saying, "I must have had another nightmare." Gu Wang asked subconsciously, "What nightmare?" "Car accident, I'm not very sure either." When Chen Shi had an accident, Chen Ji was only 3 years old. However, in my memory, my aunt treated him very well. Whenever I had free time, I would play with him and buy him various toys. Later, my aunt went abroad and returned 2 years ago, still treating him as before. Although Chen Jinyan is young, he is not foolish either. Sometimes, his family brings up things about his aunt. Knowing that my aunt has experienced some very bad things has left a psychological shadow on her. Gu Wang remained silent for a moment before saying, "Give me the water. It's getting late, go rest quickly. I'll take care of it for you, auntie." The child looked at Gu Wang with caution, seeming to be hesitating about something. This made Su Huai, who was standing beside him, unable to bear a bitter smile. He walked up and took Chen Jinyan's hand, saying, "Don't worry, I hope Senior is not that kind of person. On one hand is my own coach, and on the other hand is my senior figure skater whom I have loved for many years." In the end, Chen Jinyan chose to believe in Gu Wang's character and handed him warm water. Before leaving, he also gave him a small adult-like advice. "Gu Wang, please don't do anything bad to my aunt." Su Huai almost laughed to death and led Chen Jinyan out. Over the years, Gu Wang has been completely focused on the issue of emotions and has become somewhat sluggish. I was stunned for a while before I realized what Chen Jinyan had just said. You can see that Senior is not that kind of person. Senior Gu Wang, please don't do anything bad to my aunt. Do bad things. That kind of person. Gu Wang suddenly remembered the kiss inside the car in his mind and laughed angrily. Is it also Chen Shi, this little rascal, who did bad things to him? Gu Wang helped Chen Shi up and gave her some warm water. Then, led by Chen Jinyan, he found a towel to wipe her face and hands. The little girl was completely asleep, and there was no response to wiping her face or hands. Thinking of the nightmare that Chen Jinyan had just mentioned, Gu Wang did not leave and stayed by the bed guarding her. Looking at Chen Shi sleeping peacefully, Gu Wang couldn't help but think of the past. I don't remember when I met, but when I had memories, they were already senior brothers and sisters trained together. He and Chen Shi are both rare geniuses in Hua Hua, and in the Hua Hua desert, they are given high expectations. Every day, besides studying, they also go ice skating. Despite this, they don't feel bored. As young people, they don't know much about love, only know that skating is quite enjoyable and they also want to bring glory to their country. Later, they made a wish together, which was to win an Olympic gold medal. Chen Shi is very strong, really. Everyone said she had gathered 6 types of triple jumps at the age of only 15, but in fact, it wasn't. Chen Shi could jump 6 types at the age of 13, but she only put them on the field at 15. On the international stage, her axel has never made any mistakes for 3 weeks. At that time, she was already practicing quadruple jumping and was able to achieve full circumference. Unfortunately, there was a car accident and nothing left. That spirited Chen Shi disappeared as a result. Like a flash in the pan. Later, Gu Wang had an additional dream. 2 Olympic gold medals. The next day, when Chen Shi woke up, the sun was already high and shining through the glass onto the bed. She touched something immediately and looked down, it was Gu Wang. He fell asleep lying beside her bed. Chen Shio was frightened by this scene. Heart. Sleeping in bed, why is Gu Wang with her? After getting drunk, Chen Shi felt a little pain in his head, and he tried to recall what happened last night. I vaguely remember a bald donkey constantly drinking at her dinner party, but later she couldn't drink anymore. Afraid of losing money, she found an excuse to leave, as if she had met Gu Wang at the restaurant entrance. She couldn't remember what happened afterwards. Chen Shi, who has a bad drinking style, feels a bit flustered in her heart. She probably didn't do anything to offend Gu Wang or go out of line, did she? Chen Shi tiptoed up from the bed and walked barefoot out of the bedroom, holding a shoe in one hand. Today is the weekend, and Chen Jinyan doesn't have to go to school. The children wake up very early and are sitting on the sofa doing homework. Seeing Chen Shi, he immediately put on a smile and said, "Auntie, are you awake?" Chen Shi threw his high heels aside and walked over in his slippers. "Every year, my aunt has something to ask you." Chen Jinyan continued to do his homework and said, "What's going on?" "Auntie, you can ask me, I promise I'll tell you everything." "Did I do anything out of line last night?" Chen Shi thinks that when she comes back, Chen Jinyan should be at home, right? Chen Jinyan pretended to think for a moment and then said, "I didn't do anything out of line either." Chen Shigong wanted to breathe a sigh of relief, but before he could finish his anger, he heard Chen Jinyan say, "It's just holding on to Senior Gu and not letting go." Chen Shi. Did you do anything out of line? She even has a dying heart, okay? At such a reminder from Chen Jinyan, the things she couldn't have remembered suddenly came to her mind. Not only did she hold on to Gu Wang without letting go, but she also touched his chest and abdominal muscles in the car, saying that his buttocks were curled up. Most importantly, she even kissed him. It was as if a thunderbolt had struck her, leaving her inside charred and outside tender. Oh my God, oh my earth, what did she do last night? It's better to forget this kind of dark history, so she can pretend not to know. Chen Shi felt that she had no face to face Gu Wang anymore, she wanted to find an excuse to slip away. Just then, a lazy voice sounded from behind. "Why didn't you call me when you woke up?" My aunt and nephew brushed their heads together and looked towards the source of the sound. I saw Gu Wang standing lazily yawning at the door, his short hair messy in the air, and his shirt breaking off 2 buttons at some point, revealing a fair and enticing collarbone. Looking up was a sexy Adam's apple with a lipstick mark on it. Another wave of dead memories began to attack Chen. She seemed to have gone crazy from sleeping until midnight last night, singing and dancing in bed, teasing Gu Wang. The lipstick mark on his Adam's apple and the 2 broken buttons were her masterpieces. A man has a beautiful face, and due to years of exercise, his skin is so good that he can squeeze out water. Not to mention the flaws, he can't even see his pores when he gets close. He is clean and fair, and even when he just wakes up, his disheveled and unkempt appearance is incredibly handsome. Chen swallowed his saliva and was impressed by his newly awakened appearance, but soon she regained her composure and felt more embarrassed. She knows she has a strange habit of going crazy after drinking, but she never thought she would flirt with men. She used to flirt with men even when she was drunk, it was just a bit too much. Chen Jinyan was also frightened when he saw the lipstick mark on Gu Wang's Adam's apple. He looked at Gu Wang with sleepy eyes and then at Chen, who was already dumbfounded. What did you do last night? Although he is still a child, he still understands some things. The most guilty person is none other than the initiator Chen. She chuckled twice and said, "It's nothing, I was sleeping all night and nothing happened." Gu Wang was tormented by her last night, feeling even more tired than training. Without thinking through his brain, he instinctively said, you sleep like a verb. He just wanted to express that Chen slept very restlessly last night, singing and dancing at the same time, but that didn't mean it when it came to Chen and Chen Jinyan's ears. Chen was so scared that everyone was dumbfounded. Gu Wang, what are you talking nonsense about? Nothing happened to me and you last night. There are still children here. This Gu Wang, why is he still the same as before, speaking freely? Chen Jinyan. Is this something that a 9-year-old child of mine can listen to? Gu Wang also realized that his words were a bit easy to misunderstand, so he awkwardly touched his neck and said, I'm just saying you're acting really cool, even singing and dancing when you're drunk. Chen inexplicably breathed a sigh of relief, so scared that she almost thought she had done something else. Chen Jinyan thought to himself, oh, this is so scary that he thought something had happened. It seems that Senior Gu Wang has been taken advantage of. The child inexplicably wanted to laugh, but in the end, he held it back. Chen didn't speak and the atmosphere immediately quieted down. I don't know how long it took, but in the end, the doorbell broke the silence. Gu Wang stood quite close to the door, so he took the lead in lifting his feet and opening the door. Chen is still dying in society. After a while, Gu Wang came in carrying takeout and said to his aunt and nephew on the sofa, I ordered takeout. What do you want to eat? Chen Jinyan was already hungry, and there were still cookies on the coffee table to satisfy his hunger. Seeing something to eat, he immediately threw down his pen and said happily, okay, thank you, Senior Gu Wang. Then he walked over and was even happier to see the seafood congee that he and his aunt both liked. Thinking that Gu Wang had just woken up and hadn't washed up yet, he said, Senior Gu Wang, I have new toiletries. Wait for me to find them for you. Before Gu Wang could speak, Chen Jinyan ran to find something. Judging from his familiarity with Chen house, he must have lived here quite a bit. For a moment, only Chen and Gu Wang were left in the living room, and they exchanged a glance, creating an awkward atmosphere. Chen pointed to the restroom and said, well, I'll go wash myself first. Gu Wang nodded. Chen didn't even wait for his, to finish before slipping into the bathroom with a flip-flop. Gu Wang couldn't help but cry and laugh. Running so fast, what kind of beast is he? In no time, Chen Jinyan came out with a brand new set of toiletries and said, oh, look, Senior. Gu Wang averted his gaze from the tightly closed bathroom door and took something, saying, thank you, can I call you Nian Nian? Speaking of which, when Chen was young, he even played with him. Chen Jinyan nodded and said, okay, Senior Gu Wang can call it whatever you want. Gu Wang was amused and said, just call me Brother Wang. Chen Jinyan thought for a moment and said, then I'll call you Uncle. Gu Wang's young heart was a bit hurt, do I look so old? Although he is indeed quite old, no one likes to be called uncle, right? Chen Jinyan shook his head and said honestly, not old, it's Chen. Su Yuan is my aunt. You look almost the same age, but I don't think it's quite right to call you brother in terms of seniority. Gu Wang. I didn't expect this guy to look young, but his mind is quite clear. Okay, uncle, that's uncle. Chen Jinyan chuckled twice, his face calm, but in reality, his heart was in a state of panic. I almost shook off my aunt's real name, but fortunately it's okay. Chen Shi lingered in the bathroom for nearly half an hour before coming out. Chen Jinyan's kanji was almost finished. As soon as she came out, she saw Gu Wang lazily standing by the door. The little girl was startled and blurted out, I'm going, what are you doing here? Gu Wang lazily rubbed his eyes and said, wait for you. He hasn't washed up yet. After speaking, he bypassed Chen Shi and entered the restroom like his own home. Chen Shi. This person is really impolite. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. After 6 years, ice comes again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. After 6 years, ice comes again. Chen Jinyan on the table greets Chen Shi, aunt, come and have kanji. This seafood kanji is delicious. Chen Shi came back to his senses and walked over. Chen Jinyan's kanji had bottomed out. You little boy, who gives you kanji to drink, are you not afraid of putting other things in it? Chen Jinyan aims to develop into a professional athlete, so his diet is usually strict. The child smiled and said, Uncle Gu used to be an athlete, so the kanji given by Uncle Gu must be okay. Chen Shi. She shook her head helplessly. However, kanji is sure to have no problem with his caring behavior. So Chen Shi also picked up a spoon and started drinking. The taste is really good. Gu Wang quickly washed up and soon came out of the restroom. He walked across from Chen Shi and pulled out a chair to sit down, without speaking, just looking at her like that. Although Chen Shi did not look up, he could sense his gaze on himself. What is this person staring at her for? After Chen Jinyan had eaten and drank enough, he thanked Gu Wang again before going to do his homework. He still has to go to training later. Gu Wang glanced at Chen Jinyan twice, and then his gaze returned to Chen Shi. Chen Shi couldn't bear his staring at him like this, so he asked, is there anything wrong? Gu Wang shook his head and said, it's okay. Chen Shi. It's okay. What are you staring at me for? She stirred the kanji twice with a spoon. She was stared at and had no appetite, so she put it down and organized a language in her heart. Well, thank you for bringing me back last night. There are still years left, so you should have helped me pick it up, right? For Gu Wang, she was just a stranger who had seen her once or twice. Not only did she take her home, but she also took care of her all night. She even prepared breakfast for the next day, and she didn't know what to say for a while. Finally, thousands of words converged into one sentence. Thank you anyway. Gu Wang moved his eyelids and spoke lazily, thank you, just verbally. So what do you want? Chen Shi doesn't like to owe people favors. It would be best if they could pay it off and never owe each other again. Gu Wang thought for 2 seconds. Invite me to dinner later. Okay. Chen Shi had no reason to refuse, after all, they helped her, otherwise we wouldn't have known what would have happened last night. Just the next second, a mobile phone suddenly handed over to her, and Gu Wang's voice rang out again. Add a WeChat. After the incident, Chen Shi cut off contact with everyone and soon went abroad. Later, when he returned to his home country, he got his phone card and everything else reissued. She glanced at the QR code on her phone and inexplicably felt that the other party was malicious. Why else would you add her on WeChat? Probably guessing Chen Shi's innermost thoughts, Gu Wang explained, didn't you say you invited me to dinner? If you don't leave a contact information, how can you make an appointment later? After a pause, he added, or is treating me to dinner just to talk? Chen Shi is speechless. Is she the kind of person who doesn't keep her word? The little girl exclaimed, took out her phone, scanned the code, and added Gu Wang's WeChat. With a ding-dong sound, a notification popped up at the top of Gu Wang's phone. The fairy from the world has applied to add you as a friend. TSK, the little girl is still as narcissistic as ever. After agreeing, Gu Wang asked, what is it called, while typing in the remarks Chen Shi. She seriously suspected the other party intentionally, but she had no evidence. I moved my lips and instinctively wanted to say, make a wish. In the past 2 years, she has spoken the name very fluently, but when it came to her mouth, she hesitated. Do you really want to continue using this name to deceive your former best friend? After some thought, Chen Shi finally uttered those 2 words. Make a wish, the wish of a wish. Gu Wang exclaimed, oh, and entered the word, she in the remarks line. I don't know if it was Chen Shi's illusion, but she actually felt a bit disappointed with Gu Wang's, oh, tone. She probably overthought it. Gu Wang did not stay with Chen Shi for a long time. Seeing that he was leaving, Chen Shi, as the host, should have sent him off. But it was only when she arrived at the door and watched Gu Wang take the elevator down that she was ready to turn around and enter the house. Just halfway through, she settled down. There are 2 residents on the first floor of this apartment. Her opposite door is now wearing a set of pajamas, lazily leaning against the door, staring at her with a smile on her lips. Chen Shi. It's a bit awkward. Tisk, Yuanbao, this is still the first time I've seen you take a man home and fall in love. Jiang Su spoke coquettishly. He walked towards Chen Shi, first teasing Chen Jinyan, and then said, I look a bit like the man on your screensaver. Chen Jinyan hates touching his watermelon head the most, with a foul-smelling face and saying, be confident and remove the seeming ones. Chen Shi remained silent and turned to enter the room, clearly agreeing. She has been neighbors with Jiang Su for 2 years, and their relationship can be said to be very good, especially since Jiang Su has helped her a lot. Jiang Su followed her and Chen Jinyan into the house, walking with twists and turns. He was very surprised when he heard the words and looked at Wen, who opened his mouth and said, I'll go. Who was Gu Wang, a recently retired figure skater who dominated the hot search list for half a month. If I had known earlier, I would have looked at him twice more. Now the whole internet is searching for his whereabouts. So many paparazzi and reporters have been squatting for a month without finding anyone. Emotions are hiding from you. How come I didn't see that you were so skilled before, Yuanbao? You're playing with Golden House Hidden Charm. To be honest, when did you hook up with Gu Wang? Those who have a good relationship with Chen Shi know that she is very fond of sports athlete Gu Wang. Not only the screensaver, but also the photo of Gu Wang in the room. Jiang Su spoke a lot with a small mouthful, and Chen Jinyan automatically blocked his voice to continue writing. Chen Shi, on the other hand, suffered a headache from the noise. You overthink it, I have nothing to do with Gu Wang for half a penny, he said in a faint tone. Jiang Shoots, I didn't believe it. Yuanbao and I don't need to pretend anymore. If it's okay, we can leave your house early in the morning. Chen Shi sat at the table, slowly drinking congee, and casually found an excuse to prevaricate. Every year now he is training in the ice club, Su Huai is his coach, and Gu Wang came to learn about the situation every year. Chen Jinyan, who is doing his homework, said, My aunt used him as a shield again. Why is it again? Because sometimes when I go shopping with my aunt and meet my uncle who wants to talk to her, she points at him and says, This is my son. She was instantly scared away when she saw such a big son. He is really worried if his aunt can find a partner in the future. Sigh. With a sigh, Chen Jinyan withdrew his thoughts and continued to do his homework. How clever is Jiang Su to be deceived by Chen Shi's clumsy lie. Hurry up and tell me what's going on. I was just on a business trip for a month, and you kidnapped your male god back home. The story behind it must be very exciting. Chen Shi looked speechless and said, "What kind of male god? I just admire him purely." Okay, appreciate it. Can you tell me what's going on now? Although Chen Shi doesn't want to say anything, with Jiang Su's personality, he is likely to follow her until he asks. If he really can't ask, his friends around him probably know that figure skater Gu Wang left her house this morning. In order to avoid such incidents, Chen Shi could only choose to compromise. It's nothing, it's just that I got drunk at a dinner party last night, and out of kindness, he brought me back and took care of me all night. It's that simple. Oh, I see. After a pause, Jiang Su showed a wicked smile and whispered, "So nothing happened to you." It seems indescribable that this lonely man and widow, as well as someone who is drunk and doesn't experience anything like burning firewood, can't they? Chen Shi was like a cat with its tail stepped on, instantly exploding. No, nothing. Jiang Su immediately understood her reaction and said, "In my opinion, something happened, but it didn't happen completely, did it?" Chen Shi exploded completely and said, "Get lost." Okay. Although Jiang Su said yes, he did not leave the stool, so he sat opposite and watched Chen Shi drinking congee without blinking. Although the other party is a good sisters to her, Chen Shi can't stand being stared at by a man like this. What are you doing with your eyes? Nothing really happened to him. At most, I touched and kissed twice. Of course, she is the one who takes advantage. Jiang Su nodded and said, "I know." Chen Shi. She was speechless. "Why do you still look at me like this?" "I was just thinking, have you added WeChat for such a great opportunity so that we can schedule another one?" Chen opened his eyes and said a lie. She said, "No. Unfortunately, otherwise you could still take this opportunity to treat him to a meal, so after a while, your relationship will become familiar. Duck is not necessary. Having spent more time together, Gu Wang will eventually discover her true identity." Jiang Su was unaware of Chen Shi's concerns and continued, "Why don't you have to? You've been following him for so long, and now that you meet a real person, don't you want to reach out and pick the moon?" Chen Shi didn't even blink his eyelids and hardly hesitated. "I don't want to. Jiang Su. It's not interesting. Such an excellent man, so well matched with his wish treasure, actually wish treasure doesn't want to have it. I'm definitely lying to him. Wish Bao loves to talk nonsense the most." If Chen Shi knew Jiang Su's thoughts, he would probably be so angry that he would smoke from his head. After eating and drinking enough, Chen Shijiang tidied up his table and stared at the void, as if he had made some decision. "Axiu, please accompany me to a place later." Jiang Su was playing a small game when he didn't even lift his eyelids and said, "Where are you going?" "You will know when you arrive." Jiang Su happened to be free today, so he didn't say anything and went home to change clothes. Half an hour later, gather in front of the elevator door. Chen Shi and Chen Jinyan are both wearing sportswear, with one loose and the other tight. The latter wants to train on ice, wearing tight-fitting training clothes can understand. What is Chen Shi wearing sportswear for? Jiang Su asked in confusion, "Are you going to the gym or hiking?" Chen Shi still said, "You will know when you arrive." Jiang Su exclaimed and didn't ask again. Chen Shi was driving Jiang Su's car at a fast speed on the open road. After sending Chen Jinyan to the ice, she and Jiang Su went to other places. I thought Chen Shi was going to exercise or climb mountains, but after arriving, Jiang Su found out that Chen Shi was coming to the ice rink. Unlike ice, ice is a training ground for professional athletes and is rarely open to the public, while this is a regular commercial ice rink. Chen Shi went to the front desk to rent 2 pairs of ice skates. Jiang Shiren was foolish and said, "No, I can't skate, Yuan Bao." Chen Shi handed him his ice skates and said, "Then learn. I believe you can do it." Jiang Su. He wouldn't say he had played with this thing before and almost fell half dead, but later he never dared to touch it again. Chen Shi ignored him and took his ice skates to the side to put them on. Looking at this thing that she used to be most familiar with, her emotions were a bit complicated. Since she had an accident and was informed of a comminuted fracture in her right leg that she could no longer undergo high-intensity training, she has not touched her ice skates. It has been a full 6 years since then. Standing on the ice again, Chen Shi's heart was filled with fear, an inexplicable fear that even his legs were trembling. As for what she was afraid of, she couldn't say clearly. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Born for Skating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Born for Skating. Probably the psychological shadow left by the car accident 6 years ago, or something else. Jiang Su thought that Chen Shi's legs were trembling because he couldn't play. He instinctively wanted to laugh, but he was afraid of being beaten and could only suppress it. After putting on his ice skates, he lifted his feet and put them on the ice, standing next to Chen Shi and supporting her arm with kindness, saying, "Yuan Bao, don't be afraid. Although I don't really know how to skate, it's okay that we can help each other." Chen Shi didn't speak, just took a deep breath and suppressed the fear in his heart. She must overcome her fear of ice skating so that she has the opportunity to interview. Otherwise, in a figure skating themed TV drama, she doesn't even have the courage to ice skate. Why did the director choose her as the female lead? Chen Shi has always wanted to be angry. With this thought in mind, her gaze became firm, and even the fear in her heart decreased a bit. She tried to lift her foot and slide forward. At first, she was like a newcomer, very slow in speed, seemingly afraid of falling and not daring to move. After the fear in her heart gradually dissipated, Chen Shi began to accelerate her speed skating. Jiang Su's half bucket of water quickly couldn't keep up with her speed, so he quickly released the hand that was holding her. Because he is afraid that he won't let go and will fall later. The ice surface is hard, and a fall can be very painful for the thief. He stood in the center of the ice rink like that, watching Chen Shi's sliding speed getting faster and faster, completely unlike a beginner. After running around the field for a few laps, Chen Shi finally regained a little bit of the feeling of skating. The more slippery she felt, the more excited and happy she felt in her heart. Although it has been 6 years since it was put on ice, some things are engraved in the bones, and even if the brain forgets, there are still muscle memories. After feeling it, Chen Shi instinctively lifted his hind legs and opened his hands in a swallow flying posture. In flower skating, this is called swallow-style sliding. It's also her iconic move. The Yen-style parade. When she was on duty back then, such a simple move captivated countless ice enthusiasts. Coincidentally, she has a slender body and slender hands and feet, making this movement very pleasing to the eye. For a moment, other people on the ice rink looked at her as she was doing a Yen-style patrol on the edge of the rink. I saw a young girl wearing a mask. Although she couldn't see her appearance clearly, she felt like a beautiful woman. Even if she was just wearing a simple black sportswear, she still couldn't conceal the fairy spirit and elegance emanating from her body. Chen Shi didn't notice the people around her. After finishing the Yen style, she slid over to Jiang Su and saw him dumbfounded. She was a bit puzzled and said, "What's wrong?" Her voice pulled Jiang Su's thoughts back and said, "Yuan Bao, didn't you say you can't skate? I see you can skate better than anyone else, scammer." Chen Shi looked innocent and said, "When did I say I can't skate anymore?" Jiang Su thought for a moment, but it seemed like there was none. He didn't turn his face and didn't speak, as if he was angry. Chen Shi couldn't help but laugh and cry, "I learned it when I was young." Although I haven't played it for many years, my skills are still there. I just don't know how much her jump is left. You should know that she had 6 types of triple jumps at the age of 13, and successfully jumped out of the axel triple with a GOE positive at the 2013 World Championships, winning the championship in one go, becoming the only female singles player to become a world champion just after promotion. He is a rare talent in figure skating, and at the age of only 15, he obtained a ticket to the Olympics, becoming the most popular champion. If it weren't for that car accident, she should have been able to realize her dream and live up to everyone's expectations. Jiangsu suddenly realized, well, I thought you were just 6 years old when you first played, it scared me a lot. Chen blinked his eyelids and withdrew his thoughts from the past. He smiled at the corner of his mouth, but the smile did not reach his eyes. How could it be? When she first skated, she was only 3 years old, and she was still a bit unsteady when walking. However, she walked freely on the ice, and even she thought she was born for skating. Unexpectedly, many years later, God played a huge joke on her on the eve of the Olympics. A car accident directly ruined her entire competitive career. Chen smiled bitterly and looked up to ask Jiangsu, "Are you still okay?" Although Jiangsu hasn't played for a long time, he can still easily skate on the ice and say, okay, I hope you can go play, don't worry about me. Okay. Then Chen really went to play on his own. She almost always runs circles around the ice rink, but she doesn't dare to skate too fast for fear of accidentally hitting someone. After running about 10 laps, she began to feel tired before slowly stopping. There are many people playing and even practicing jumping on the ice rink, but they only jump for 2 weeks. Chen brewed for a while and also tried to make a jump. She slid forward for a short distance, then turned around and jumped forward, spinning in the air for 2.5 times before falling to the ground with a loud bang. However, her reaction was quick. When she fell, her front legs were straight and her back legs were bent. Without hesitation, she instinctively supported the floor with both hands and stood up so straight. Jiangsu was initially scared when he saw her fall, but when he saw her brush and stand up suddenly, and still in such a strange posture, his chin almost fell out of shock, and he didn't even realize what was going on for a while. Chen remained in his upright position without moving, his gaze fixed straight on the ice. It's almost there. She almost finished her 2A just now. She was already full week old, but she didn't fall well when it hit the ice, so she fell. Chen is not angry either, he is ready to challenge again. Before Jiangsu could even recover from what had just happened, he saw Chen quickly slide forward for a short distance, then slow down and turn around and jump again. The ice skate sliced across the ice surface and made a comfortable and pleasant sound. Shupa. This time, Chen landed steadily on the ice, a clean and beautiful axel for 2 weeks. Chen happily clenched her fists. Unexpectedly, after 6 years of not getting on the ice, she was able to successfully land a 2A on the ice. She is indeed a little genius. However, this is also thanks to Chen. Although he is no longer an athlete in recent years, he has been exercising appropriately, except for the past month. She just looks thin, her flesh is so firm that most people can't beat her. Other people besides Jiangsu also witnessed Chen jump and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, "Oh my god, is this height half a barrier high? So far. The speed is so fast. This 2A is really tall and far away, and the falling ice is so clean and beautiful that there is no problem with it. This little sister should be an athlete, right? How could an ordinary person have such strength? Not only does she jump high and float far, but her skills are also very clean and agile, giving people a feeling of flowing clouds and water." A knowledgeable person immediately said, and judging by her RPM and air stall time, she can definitely make it for 3 weeks. As expected, Chen was very happy to see the success of 2A and couldn't wait to try the triple jump. Under the gaze of many gazes, she had already shielded herself from external interference, assisted in skating for a distance, and then the left rear inner blade slid and jumped, spinning 3 times before crashing into the ice. She's standing firm. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Wochao Sliding Circle Women's Singles Legendary World Champion Chen. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 10. Wochao Sliding Circle Women's Singles Legendary World Champion Chen. Although jumping on the ice for the past 3 weeks was not very good, Chen stood firm and did not fall or lift the ice. The little sister wearing a mask once again amazed the others present. Although there are many athletes in our country who can perform triple jumps, there are few who can perform as beautifully as this little sister. The women's singles in the nest either have insufficient speed or height, and there are always some flaws with a low upper limit. And Chen's 2 jumps, soaring high and drifting far, showed everyone infinite possibilities. However, this young lady is wearing a mask and looks quite old, probably around 18 years old. But the ice fans present didn't see who she was, they just felt a bit familiar. However, since she was wearing a mask, she probably didn't want to be recognized, so everyone was curious and didn't bother her. Coming out of the ice rink was already an hour later. Chen Shichang quickly skated for an hour, during which he also tried advanced 3 weeks. Although he failed to drop the ice, he was able to achieve full weeks. She is now 22 years old, and it is truly a miracle that she can still achieve this after leaving the ice rink for 6 years. If training can be resumed, it is not impossible to pick up all 3 jumps. Just because her feet cannot undergo high-intensity training for a long time, she just jumped on the ice like she didn't want to die time and time again, and now her ankle is starting to ache faintly. It's okay to treat it as entertainment, but it's impossible to be professional. Jiang Su had not yet come out of the shock Chen had brought to him. Yuan Bao, you're too amazing, right? Do you know how everyone praised you on the ice rink just now? Chen paused while drinking milk tea, shook his head, and said innocently, I don't know. She only focused on skating and didn't pay attention to the surroundings. She used to think that she would never ice again in her lifetime, and even was afraid of ice. She didn't even want to hear the name, Chen. But to her surprise, when she put on her ice skates again and stood on the ice, overcoming the brief fear in her heart, she still loved skating as much as before. Even though it hurt to fall on the ice time and time again, she was very happy. She couldn't help but think again, if it weren't for the car accident 6 years ago. This idea has appeared countless times in her heart, but no matter how much she hopes, the car accident happened and there is no possibility of going back. That's also why she changed her stage name to Su Yuan after entering the entertainment industry. In addition to my mother's surname Su, there is also the wish. Making wishes, hoping that the car accident did not happen back then. In this way, she may be able to stand on the highest podium with Gu Wang, allowing the 5-star red flag to rise slowly on the international stage. Unfortunately, she was unable to achieve it. Jiang Su did not notice the disappointment in Chen's eyes and only focused on saying, they are all saying that your jumping skills are very clean, and you are also tall and far. They see hope in you for women's singles, and they really want to know which athlete you are so that they can support you. When he said this, Jiang Su was still a bit arrogant. If they know you're a celebrity, today you're just out for fun, and your expression on your face must be very exciting. The performance of Wochao women's singles has always been poor, and in recent years, it has been so miserable that no one can participate in international competitions. So ice fans are only so excited when they see Chen's high-quality jumps. You should know that the Winter Olympics in 2 years will be held by your own country. If you can't come up with a decent athlete to participate in the competition, the host country's face may be a bit difficult. Although Jiang Su was not very familiar with figure skating, he also knew that Chen Shigang's jump was difficult. He couldn't help but doubt, Yuan Bao, to be honest, were you an ice skater before? Why else would they do jumps? He used to wonder why Chen, who doesn't skate, would be attracted to him. If Chen Shi had also been an ice skater before, that would make sense. Chen Shi inexplicably felt a sense of guilt when his little secret was exposed, and he didn't even dare to look into Jiang Su's eyes. How could it be? I just practiced for a few years when I was young, he said, fearing that Jiang Su wouldn't believe it. Chen Shi quickly added, you also heard how everyone praised me just now. If I were really an athlete, I would definitely be very famous, but have you ever heard the name Su Yuan in the skating circle? Jiang Su thought for a moment and said, it seems so. There is only one legendary figure in the women's singles event at Wochao, and that is the world champion Chen Shi, who was short-lived and stunning for a while, just one step away from the Olympic champion. However, she retired from a car accident 6 years ago, and since then, no one has been found in the skating circle. Don't mention the sliding circle. Even the internet is so developed, there is no news about her. For so many years, she disappeared without a trace, like the evaporation of the human world. Let's go. To thank you for accompanying me out early in the morning, I'll treat you to lunch. Chen Shi stood up with milk tea and walked out. Jiang Su followed closely behind and said, it's been a long time since you took on the show. Do you still have rice in your pocket? I'll treat you, brother. Chen Shi. The little girl always wants to be strong, even if she is really poor, she still wants to argue and say, who do you look down on? Just say I'll treat you. In order not to let Chen Shi misunderstand that he looked down on her, Jiang Su could only ask Chen Shi to invite her. However, Chen Shi invited him to eat beef brisket noodles on the roadside, which cost 5 yuan per bowl. Jiang Su. I am really a bold Q. After eating and drinking enough, Chen Shi and Jiang Su returned to their apartments, each returning to their respective homes. Chen Jinyan has free lunch at the club, so she doesn't have to worry about it. She can pick him up at night. Chen Shi, who had been skating for 2 hours, sweated a lot. She first took a shower and then lay on the sofa, watching TV and sending messages to Song Bei. Chen Shi. Bei, I'll take on the drama with a smooth relationship. Song Bei, who received the message, is still accompanying Song Wanxin in the hospital. Yesterday, Song Wanxin was filming on the set and accidentally injured her waist, which required her to be hospitalized for a period of time. Song Bei didn't expect Chen Shi to really agree. If it weren't for the lack of suitable scripts for Chen Shi, she wouldn't have mentioned this to her. I originally thought that even if I agreed, I would have to wait until the last moment, but I didn't expect Chen Shi to give her a reply so quickly the next day. As a manager, she is very happy and satisfied. Song Bei. Well, I'll send you the script later. Chen Shi. Okay, I heard that Wan Xian was injured. Are you okay? Song Wanxin and she are both artists under Song Bei's command, but before taking her, Song Bei had already taken Song Wanxin for several years. Nowadays, Song Wanxin is already a popular female celebrity with countless fans. The news of her injury immediately went viral on the hot search. Except for the title that appeared on Gu Wang, she had already been suppressed. Song Bei. It's not a big problem, just cultivate for a period of time. Chen Shi instinctively wanted to say that she would go to the hospital to see Song Wanxin, but Song Bei seemed to have guessed her thoughts, and the next second news came in. Song Bei. Recently, netizens have been spreading rumors that your relationship is strained. Please don't come to the hospital to avoid being pushed into the spotlight again. Chen Shi. Oh. End of this chapter.